Hey guys, so with the release of Black Panther and Infinity War coming up here, I had actually mapped out with my friend Sean that if we watched a movie every week for I think 16 or 17 weeks, we would end up finishing the MCU the day before Infinity War comes out. So we're in the seventh week right now, and since this is the seventh week, I wanted to rank the Phase 1 movies, since I finally finished those, ending with the Avengers back on Thursday night here. So let's get this started. So to start at the bottom of the list for Phase 1, I'm going to go with The Incredible Hulk. Now this movie, it's not bad. I just want to be clear, I don't dislike any of the movies here. Edward Norton just really couldn't cut it for me. I know there's a lot of behind the scenes drama with him, the creators, and stuff like that, but it was better than the 2003 Hulk movie, and mostly right now it's just purely canon. I know a lot of people kind of don't really consider it part of the universe, or they don't like to, simply because Norton's not in it anymore. But anyway, I mean, it's got some good action scenes. It has a problem with the villain, because I cannot buy Tim Roth as the Abomination at all. I just couldn't do it. Liv Tyler's really not that great either, but it kind of makes up for it just being entertaining. The one thing that kind of really pissed me off was that we don't get to see more of Tim Blake Nelson's character, who, if you saw the movie, ends up becoming the leader, one of Hulk's most famous villains. And I really wanted more of that, but since technically there can't be another Hulk movie right now, we're never going to see it probably. Next up we have Iron Man 2. Now, Iron Man 2 is definitely a good movie. I know it's considered one of the worst for a lot of people, but every time I watch it, it gets a little bit better. Mickey Rourke is fine as the villain, Whiplash. The whole scene in Monaco with the Formula One racing is pretty cool. His first appearance. We also get the first look at War Machine, and that was one of the problems I had, is Don Cheadle. Now, Don Cheadle's a great actor in his own right, but obviously in Iron Man 1 we had Terrence Howard, who refused to return due to payment issues, and we get stuck with him. Terrence Howard just was more assertive as the character, where Don Cheadle's got that like really passive voice, and it just doesn't work here, and he's kind of just sounds like a bitch, really. We've also got the introduction to Natasha Romanoff, Black Widow. That whole scene with her and Happy Hogan fighting was pretty awesome. We get the new Iron Man suits. The other thing I didn't really like about it was Sam Rockwell's character, Justin Hammer. Just wasn't really a big fan of his. He's alright as an actor, but overall he just kind of is annoying the entire time. And it makes up for some cool action scenes towards the end, but overall it's just not one of the best of the series. Next up we've got Thor. Now, Thor is definitely my favorite Avenger, besides Spider-Man, of course. But Chris Hemsworth totally nails the role here, and his scenes on Earth are just great. I loved how they led up to it in Iron Man 2 with the post-credit scene of the hammer in the ground. But his lines on Earth are they're really funny, and Chris Hemsworth just brings a lot of charisma to the role. Makes Thor not only funny, but just really likable. And I just love his powers, the fact that he's a demigod. His romance with Jane may not be the best part of the MCU, but Natalie Portman does the best that she can. It really comes down to the writing and the script. But I'm kind of glad they got rid of that. We've also got our introduction to Loki here. Now, I'm not the biggest Loki fan, but as we've seen with the Avengers and Thor Ragnarok, he is a pretty big part of the MCU. I've definitely come to like him over the course of the movies here. But it's fun. The scene with him getting his hammer back is great. And it just kind of rounds up the beginning of meeting Thor. Even though it's definitely not as good as Ragnarok, I still like it quite a bit. Next up we have Captain America. Now, Captain America was actually the one that I didn't really remember much about. I'd only seen it once before, didn't get a chance to check it out in theaters, nor did I Thor or The Incredible Hulk. But that's beside the point. I really like the opening of this. We've got skinny Chris Evans for about the first 20 minutes until he decides to be part of the experiment. I had completely forgotten Stanley Tucci was in it, as well as Tommy Lee Jones, and they're both really awesome. Red Skull was a pretty cool villain. I know Hugo Weaving hated it because of the makeup that he had to do, but I thought it looked pretty badass. The whole scene of him discovering his powers, Captain America that is really cool. Chris Evans once again nails the role and is lucky enough to have portrayed two Marvel superheroes, Human Torch and Captain America here. Good old Cappy. I love the shield. He's always been my favorite. Besides, I just wanted to get a tattoo of the hammer of the shield, like right here. Probably never gonna happen, but I got this for now. I think Chris Evans just does amazing with the role, and it's got such a good supporting cast. And then, of course, the ending is great, leading right up to a scene in the Avengers, him sacrificing himself to take down Hydra. Next up, we have the Avengers. Now, I mean, come on now. It's the Avengers. Everybody knows about this. Everybody who likes the MCU pretty much thinks it's amazing. At the time, it was one of the most epic movies ever, bringing together all these superheroes. Thor, Captain America, Iron Man, Hulk. We got our first look at this Hulk. Mark Ruffalo just nails it so much better than Edward Norton. We've got Hawkeye in it. We've got more Loki. The whole scene with the Chitauri at the end is great. The first interaction we have between Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man is just completely awesome. We get more of Nick Fury, Agent Coulson. It's the whole shebang here. I mean, this movie it was huge when it came out. Nobody knew what to expect, and everybody was just hoping they didn't screw it up. And they didn't. It just turns out it's one of the most fun movies of the MCU, and probably just one of the best superhero movies of all time. Not my absolute favorite, but it's definitely in the top 5. My one favorite, though, I will get to. My second favorite of all time is Iron Man. The one that started it all. Iron Man is just amazing. Definitely my second favorite superhero movie after the first Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire. But this one, just Downey Jr. kills it. The whole opening is great. The scene of him basically creating the suit is just really tense overall. Jon Favreau was amazing with the directing. And it even had one of my favorite villains of the MCU with the Ironmonger, played none other than the dude, Jeff Bridges. And I think a lot of people were kind of shocked by that. And it was kind of fun, just the scenes where he's actually being pretty dude-like. But yeah, it's the one that started it all. It still remains the best. I'm just going to say right now, it's still my favorite of the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I doubt that is going to change. Maybe Infinity War, just because I know that's going to be a lot more epic. But for now, we're going to stick with this. Iron Man, awesome character. Just to see him progressing over these movies is so great. So tell me what, guys. Let me know, what are your opinions on the MCU? How do you rank them? Are you going to watch them all before Infinity War? Let me know. Are you excited for Black Panther? Come on, guys. I want to hear it. So take care and enjoy Black Panther and Infinity War. February 16th and May 4th. Here we come.